All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the other side of the coin. Bit frustrating, bit flat after that particular performance. I don't know. I mean, obviously we're going to go through everyone, but first of all, shout out to everyone that's joined, and shout out to everyone that will join throughout the stream and will watch it after the stream as well. Thank you for always showing this support, and massive shout out to the panel, Taryn, Kishan, the debut. We've got Mark coming back as well. First of all, Taryn, how you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm really good. To be fair, I'm not actually as annoyed as I thought I'd be if we were joined to Man United. But yeah, I'm okay today. I'm excited to be on the channel with some new faces. And yeah, I'm just excited to get into it as usual, mate. Thanks for having me on.
Brilliant. Mark, my man, how's things?
I'm good. A bit frustrated with the game, but you know, I'm always happy to be here in your channel with you guys, and happy to be with the new faces too. So yeah.
Brilliant, man. Kishan, my boy, what's happening?
Yeah, well, good. Not too sure what you think about that, but happy to be here. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, man, I can already feel the mood here. It's so flat. I'm pretty sure that's exactly how the live chat feels. Live chat, getting on the act. I want to involve you guys as much as possible. We're going to have people jumping in as well, giving their quick reactions. Michael will be coming on. I think he's just commented. And we're going to have Johnathan. He's going to come on and jump in to give us the reaction. But let's get some opening statements on the way. First of all, I'll start here. I don't know, man. We don't create enough chances. We had that Giroud opportunity. It was just whiskers away. We had a Mason Mount opportunity inside the box. Was it Mason Mount or was it someone else? Can't really remember. There was Mason Mount in the second half with the drive when he went through. Callum Hudson-Odoi, he had an opportunity in the first half where Azpi had cut it back in. But I just feel like there's not enough clear-cut chances. That seems to be the issue. We're not making big clear-cut chances, opening teams up. We didn't do that against Atletico Madrid, to be honest. We didn't do that against many other teams, I feel like. So this seems to be a bit of a concern. Defensively, I think we were very good, like Andres Christensen, Antonio Rudiger, Azpi, they all were very, very good. Midfield, I suppose when Kante and Kovacic lost the ball, they recovered the ball, which was great. But when we were with possession, I don't think we were that great. So overall, just like you guys, I'm not really sure exactly how I feel. Okay, fine, we didn't lose. We didn't win. We probably needed to win that to be in the top four sort of race. With Leicester losing, with West Ham losing, this was a big opportunity for us to go ahead. Liverpool's playing soon, so we don't want, and we're playing Liverpool the next game, so a win would have been so great. Obviously, we're going to get deep into it, but Mark, how's your opening statement, man? How do you feel from the get-go?
It was quite even when it comes to clear chances. I think we had the better chances. We controlled the game as well. But once again, we can't seem to score. And, no surprise that Roman wants to break the bank for Haaland at this point. But I do agree with what you said. A big shout out to Azpilicueta, Christensen and Rudiger. Christensen and Rudiger, seems to me that I think that for every Chelsea fan, they've had like a big question mark on their head for a long time. And they're doing brilliantly well in this last games. I think Rudiger was outstanding today. Cesar Azpilicueta, I think he's a warrior. He always plays well. The thing is that, I don't know if you noticed today, I heard in the commentary that he had a broken finger. And, I've had, as you know, Miss, I was amateur boxer, and I've had my finger broken more than once, and it's so difficult to, I don't know, be running or whatever with broken finger. So and the guy's done brilliantly well. So I just think we're lacking a bit of fire up front. So it's a shame that we can't put to bed the chances that we have up there.
Yeah, no, I agreed, man. That Azpilicueta, I noticed that against Atletico Madrid as well. That would not be one bit comfortable. That thing on the hand,
It's
running
not,
with it. You're always conscious about it. But defensively, once again, he's been a monster. Every now and then, some of the passes were a bit maybe suspect, but defensively, overall, I think he had a very good game. But Taryn, my man, some initial statements.
Yeah, first of all, I'd say since I've been on the channel, 5 games unbeaten, so I don't know if that's a factor, Miz. But yeah, happy that Alonso wasn't playing as well today, so you can't ask him about Alonso. But yeah, for the game, to be fair, I'm not actually completely fuming at the game as I was at the Southampton, because this is a game that we couldn't afford to lose, and the fact that if we lost today, it would have been really, really crucial for our top 4 hopes. Like 9 points behind Man United, it would have been, and Leicester still would have been 3 points.
Do you feel like Man United as a team we could have beaten, though? That team could have been beaten.
Yeah. I thought Man United were good defensively today, apart from a few lapses. I thought Maguire was really solid against Giroud for once, and Lindelof was good. That clearance from Werner right at the end was superb. And our defense was solid today, as usual. All I'm seeing is our defense getting better each game and our attack getting worse. It's bad to say, but there's just a lack of chances, less and less every game. The first few games we saw in the Wolves game, a few chances, the Burnley game quite a lot, the Spurs game 2 or 3, and now it's narrowed down to like 1 maybe big chance, which is Olivier Giroud's chance. You can't rely on Mateo Kovacic on the edge of the box to just hit a banger here, there. It's a little bit disappointing, but we're still in the race for the top 4. We're only 3 points behind Leicester, I believe, or 4, and West Ham were only 2 points behind them now, I think. So yeah, it's not looking too bad, but obviously I was expecting a win, a 2-1 win in the pre-predicted, but I'm not angry, to be fair.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's not all doom and gloom. I'm not going to sit here and say it's all doom and gloom, it's all gone. No, not at all. I mean, Leicester's dropped points, West Ham has dropped points. The way I kind of look at it is that's a game. When I looked at the Man United's sort of team sheet come out, I just felt we could have got to them and we could have gotten a victory out of it. 1-0 is what I expect. 1-0, 2-0 is what I expected. But it just didn't happen. We're going to talk about Hakim Ziyech. I feel like he's not giving us that impetus that he really should be. But let's go to the debutant, Kishan. What's your opening statement about that match?
Again, I'm not too sure what to think about it, because I think they were there for the taking, but then at the same time, when they countered us, we were probably lucky not to lose, because there was a few times, like especially when Reece put that ball in. Yeah, it's lucky that Kante came back and he got his foot in, and then we got out of that. But apart from that, I think the one chance you guys missed was Ziyech. That was a massive chance. The one where he hit it at De Gea. I think if that was lower, that could have been the game there. And I think at the end, when that ball comes in, Werner has to chuck himself at that. I think Tuchel was saying that to him, saying, why did you not chuck it? So, because I don't know, there's just that part of Werner that you feel like he's always scared of physical contact, that he'll never chuck himself in those scenarios. And I feel like he could have tried to put a bit more pressure on Lindelof there.
You know what, Kishan, that's such a good point. I feel like and this is where I feel like Timo Werner is not an out-and-out striker. He's always that left inside forward player. Because someone like Giroud, how he threw himself out and hit the post. He literally just missed by an inch. I mean, I think the cross was great. I think the timing was great. It was just unlucky that he just couldn't get to it by an inch. But that's the thing about Olivier Giroud. He's a striker, so he throws himself at it. And it's a very good point that you've made, Kishan, that Timo Werner should be, he should know that cross is coming, right? He should just throw himself. But then again, look, unlucky, as Taryn said, it was the end. Was it Lindelof? That was
a really good interception, yeah.
Yeah, it was a good interception as well. I'm not going to take anything away from Lindelof, but I do understand what you're saying, Kishan, in regards to throwing themselves. Let's talk about the match in details. Let's go to Mark, man. Mark, let's talk about the first half. First of all, I felt, as Kishan said, Man United always a bit of a threat in counter. There were a few times where I had my heartbeats was sort of the palpitations were going off the hook. But Rudiger, Christensen managed it very well. Kante recovered well as well. First off, obviously Callum Hudson-Odoi's opportunity. Let's talk a little bit about that. I felt like, guys, Callum's impetus on the right side, and I got a little bit of heat from a couple of the large Twitter accounts when I tweeted out that we lost a lot of impetus on the right side as soon as Callum Hudson-Odoi came out and Reece James came on. I just feel like Reece James is not a right wing back, man. He just doesn't give me the same sort of impetus that Callum Hudson-Odoi does in terms of 1v1 attacking, in terms of more crossing. Reece James did have that cross right at the end, which, as we've mentioned, Timo Werner, Lindelof made a really great interception. But besides that, I don't know. There wasn't much else in the first half, to be honest, besides that really good cross from Callum Hudson-Odoi. But Mark, your thoughts when Callum came off? Did you feel like a little bit of the impetus went away?
Yeah, especially after the first half. For me, at least in my opinion, I think that Callum Hudson-Odoi did a better job than Hakim Ziyech, for example. I really thought that Ziyech might not have started the second half, but I was completely wrong, I think when we started, the game was all ours. I mean, they couldn't even smell the ball, It was all Chelsea. The thing is that gradually and slowly United got into the game, and honestly, I was suffering by the end of the first half. I thought, man, they're going to score in any minute. And, I think we were quite lucky that playing against United, they didn't got that penalty, because that handball by Cho, I saw that.
Let's talk a little bit about that. Do you think that was a handball for sure?
In my opinion, yes. And I'm someone that's always criticizing United for getting penalties, but in this case, I really think that was a handball, I have to be honest. And we were so lucky not to get that, So yeah, like Thompson Jones is asking right now, and I don't know the rest of you guys, but at least for me, that was a clear handball, and not only once but twice. I don't know if you've seen it like me, but it touches his hand, and then in the rebound, it touches again his arm, and it's like, oh no.
Yeah, you know what?
I was hoping for the worst, man.
You know what? A lot of the pundits have been saying that it was probably a penalty. We got away with it. I initially, when I thought, I was like, I mean, it is in a bit of an unnatural. The way they kind of give that away now is that it's in an unnatural position, and that's why
changed. Yeah.
But I feel like I don't think it was intentional either. Like I think he got put off by Mason Green. I think it was Greenwood that sort of went for it. It sort of got put off by his head or whatnot. And came off Greenwood's hand as well, but I think it might have came off Callum Hudson-Odoi's hand as well. Taryn, what was your thought? Let's talk a little bit about this particular. Do you think that was probably a penalty as well?
Yeah, since VAR's been introduced, 100% that's the penalty. We've seen much less harsh handballs given. Like, for example, I know it wasn't a Premier League game, but in the Champions League, I think Dalbert was playing left back. The ball was smashed in from about 5 centimeters out, and it was given as a penalty. So I think we were really lucky. And as one of the comments said, I saw the interview from Luke Shaw. He said that the referee said it's going to cause a lot of people to talk afterwards. So I don't really know what is going on with the refs in the Premier League at the minute, but it's really dodgy. I don't know. If this was another incident, maybe with another team, it could have been given. If it was a less big game, then the refs would have got a lot less criticism for it. I feel like they could have given it. But since it was such a big game-turning incident, I feel like the referee didn't want the hate online. Maybe he didn't want the criticism from the pundits. So maybe Stuart Attwell's thinking, do you know what? I want to go and sleep peacefully tonight. I want to have a nice 8-hour sleep and feel refreshed.
It's true though, Taryn. Like the stigma is that, Man United gets all these sort of, 50-50 chances. So, do you reckon that played a bit of a part in the referee's mind that I'm scared, I'm not giving this?
For sure, yeah. But I still think it was a pen, just because of the way his hand was. It was like a teapot position for his hand, and that's not a natural position to be at your sides. If you're trying to push someone, you don't do this. You're kind of like shoulder to shoulder with them. So I would say that's a pen, even though it came off Greenwood's arm a little bit as well. It came off his arm maybe twice, and on another day we could have been screwed in that game. If that was a City game earlier in the season that was given, and we went on to play as badly as we did, we would have lost 4 or 5-0 in that game. So, yeah, I think that we were really lucky. The game would have been completely turned on its side. We would have been on the back foot against a United team that looked really defensively. So, yeah, I think it did bring in our favour, and we needed to take advantage of that. It did look like we kind of fell off a little bit, got a bit rattled by it, and as Kashan said, that we got a bit rattled, and we didn't play that game as well as the opening 10-15 minutes. So, yeah, I still think, my opinion, that was a penalty, but what can you do?
No. Understood. Kishan, the comment here from Thompson Jones. Once again, Thompson Jones, man, thank you so much for commenting these brilliant comments throughout this stream and through previous streams as well. Thank you, heaps, my man. Kishan, this is a very interesting comment. Was it intentional? In these sort of new rules, it's not just the intention. I think it has to do with the unnatural position of your hand as well. So it's not always about intention. If you have your hands out like this and it gets your hand, that's still a handball. It may not be intentional, but you can't have your hands in a weird sort of position. So from your perspective, do you feel that was probably a penalty as well?
Yeah, I think it was all day. It's intention that he's never going to put his hand there and touch the ball because no one does that kind of stuff. Yeah. But I think the thing that went in favor for us is the ball was going away from goal. So I think even like it was going backwards. And if it was the other side, I think it would have been harder for the referee to ignore and probably would have given it. But I don't know. Another school of thought is that they were tussling with each other, and that's why his hand was so high. I've heard a lot of people say that. So
yeah, a few people have said that. Yeah,
I think another thing that went for us is from the camera angle that we were, like the most obvious one. It looked like Greenwood could have touched it, and then it went on to Hudson-Odoi. But from their VAR angles, I think it was quite clear that Cho touched it first. So I don't know why they didn't give that. Good for us. We deserve it against them, though, because for the Maguire one on Azpi earlier.
Absolutely agreed, Kishan. Yeah, go on, Mark.
Yeah, just a thought. We can't be right, we can't be wrong about if it's a penalty or not. We're just sharing our own opinions. But what I do think is that this kind of natural positions where you put your arm or not, I think you can see the difference of Cho, who is not a natural defender. And for example, if you compare him to Cesar Azpilicueta, an image that I've got saved in my mind is that he always puts his arms behind him, right, on these positions, just in case. So, it can be a penalty or not, but as well, players in that moment do not know what's going to happen. So if he's going to play in I wouldn't say defensive role, but if he's going to be in those type of positions, he might as well think of putting his arms behind his body more than once.
Yeah, you know what? I'm just thinking, when you're running, the natural reaction, as Kishan said, when you're tussling, you would want to hold someone's shoulder. So, looks like the majority of people are saying that it is a pen when it comes to, the new rules and whatnot. Thompson Jones, once again, none of us know the handball rules. Look, I'm glad it wasn't a pen. Let's just move on in that sense. The fact that it wasn't a pen, and they got away with it last time we played them when Azpilicueta's one should have been a pen. So it evens things out. Let's go to Kishan. Kishan, I want to talk to you about how do you think about the midfield in the first half with Kovacic and Kante? That's always a talking point. I kind of thought Man United would sit back with the kind of football that we've been playing in recent times, the possession-based football. But I don't know. I could be wrong here with the way I'm thinking. The way I'm thinking now is they kind of got to us knowing that there wasn't that holding sort of, that register type of player like Jorginho and Kovacic who controls the ball far better than Kante and Kovacic. I feel like that sort of invited them to push us a lot more and try and win the ball a lot more, put a lot of pressure. Did you feel that way, or that am I just dreaming here?
I knew the 666 question would come from you. So, I don't know. When the teams were announced, I thought we'd miss Jorginho, like we were saying. I think we did, but Kante did his job. But at the same time, he gave away the ball stupidly at times. And I think that's what you're going to get with Kante and Kovacic together. And it always feels like, when Kovacic is doing his wriggling out of trouble and that kind of thing, he always needs Jorginho to bounce off, play a quick 1-2 and that kind of thing.
True.
And when Kante is there, it's never as swift because Kante will get stuck on the ball, or there's always a bit of panic when he's got it compared to Jorginho, who just moves it on quite swiftly.
No, so true. I agree with that. There were a lot of times where Kovacic was in tight position, and Jorginho, had he been there, he's always there to sort of give him the option. Escort again. I think this guy does not like Jorginho. Jorginho would have been steamrolled. Taryn, I want to get your thoughts on this matter, man. I know we're going to talk about all the other players as well, but But the whole midfield situation, were you surprised the way Man United came at us, the way they pressed so hard? Yes, we negated their pressing, but it wasn't as fluid as how it was with other games, how we sort of used to wriggle away and we were so press resistant. Yes, Kova did a job, but I kind of agree with what Kishan's saying, that Kante wasn't always there for as an option all the time. Kante did a job, don't get me wrong, he had a good game, but overall that chemistry I don't think was always there. Or do you agree with what Escort is saying, Jorginho would have been steamrolled?
Yeah, start off, and I think that Jorginho and Kova are perfect for playing out the press because they're always really close to each other, always working as a team. They're never too far up the pitch, never too far low in the pitch. They can always play out the press with quick 1-2s, and we're already away. But yeah, with the Man United pressing situation, I don't blame Solskjaer for pressing us today. We've seen that the worst game so far under Tuchel, maybe the Southampton, the Barnsley game, or games where we were pinned back and pressing, maybe struggling to get out of the press of a high press. I saw many instances today where we passed out wide. Mendy got the ball, played to Azpi, was literally nearly near the corner flag, and they just press us high because they know that if you pass to Chilwell, he's maybe not the best of coming out of a press. He tends to go inside or go backwards, and that's what they feed off. So yeah, I think it was smart by Solskjaer to kind of press us today. I'm a little bit surprised the fact that it's the first time this season we've seen that against a big team. But yeah, it credits to Solskjaer for pressing us because that is clearly a weakness in our game so far under Tuchel. Against Liverpool's press, I'm not gonna lie, I'm incredibly scared now because they pressed like Man United, but 10 times more organised, 10 times more intimidating their press. So when we try and get out of Liverpool's press, as we saw last season at Anfield, Liverpool pressed us in a 5 at the back, and we couldn't get out. We had Kurt Zouma at centre back, and he couldn't play the long balls up, and we had no out ball. Today we've tried two different things. We've tried Olivier Giroud to try and chest the ball and play it out with the press. That didn't work. We tried to play the balls in behind. That didn't work. So it's all about dropping into the half spaces with Mason Mount and Ziyech out of the press. I think right now, I'm expecting a really difficult game on Thursday now, and Klopp's going to be watching this game and licking his fingers, thinking this is the best game. This is the best side of football that I can use my tactics against. So yeah, but credits to Solskjaer for today, and Tuchel needs to do a bit of work on the training ground during the week, I feel.
No, for sure. Lots of good comments here for Kishan. Kishan, you should be happy, man. You got a lot of fans coming up saying some good points about you. Taryn, this particular comment here, I think Tuchel wants to get Kova and Kante ready for Atletico. Off the back of what you were saying as well, Taryn, maybe I suppose Tuchel, knowing that in Atletico's game, it's going to be Kova and Kante probably trying to establish a chemistry there, perhaps. But yeah, a few other people have sort of commented. Escort came back again, commenting that Jovic versus Liverpool. Let's see. I think it has to be Jovic versus Liverpool. I can't see all of these players sort of playing back to back with so many games that are coming up. Mark, let's talk a little bit about, not too much to talk about that first half, honestly, besides that. Second half, however, I feel like we came out of the blocks very, very quick. We were looking far more threatening. Mason Mount had an amazing run in the second half where he just sort of went straight through the middle. I honestly thought he was going to get that goal. He was going to make that opportunity and really smash that shot in. But for some reason, he hesitated right when it needed for him to be clinical right at the end. And this is the issue for our team. Always hesitating in that last bit, not being clinical enough. What do you think when he was making that run? Were you like, oh, this is going in? I think we got our goal.
I'm not lying. I can promise you this is 100% true. As soon as I saw him run, and he was getting closer and closer to David de Gea's goal, I was literally standing up in the sofa. Like, I was that excited. I really thought that was going in. And as soon as I saw him, cut the ball and doing some strange stuff, I thought, oh, no. And I sat down again at the sofa, right? Because I knew that was basically not going to end well. That was the best chance, I think, that we had. When it comes to the second half, generally, I think that it was quite even, to be honest. I think
they had some chances right at the end. They really
absolutely. We can't say that we were great and they were rubbish because it's not true. I think until the last minute, the game was there for the taking, It was a bit 50-50, but I do have that feeling that our chances were more dangerous than their chances, and we should have finished that way better than what we did. So, I am disappointed with the whole game. But basically because I think it was a good opportunity to get back to top 4. And more than a point won, it feels like 2 points lost, you know?
Yeah, no, fair point, man. Let's bring in Michael. Let's have our first fan reaction. Michael, how you doing, my man?
Hi, how are you guys?
Not bad at all. What's your thoughts about that match, man?
Man, to be honest, we played all right. It's just we lacked the cutting edge in the last, part of the pitch. Kante was good. You guys killed Kante. Kante was good. In the first half, he made mistakes. I'm someone that would say, what's right and what's wrong. Kante made mistakes in the first half here. He was sloppy with his passing. It was like, come on, man, pass the ball right. But in the second half, he was everywhere. Everywhere. Him, Mason, Kovacic, my God, everywhere in the midfield. Rudiger was solid as hell today, you guys. Rudiger
was good.
Needs to be propped up. He was like, I don't know where this Rudiger has come from, but he's balling out now. Christensen.
With the ball and without the ball, everything.
Where did Christensen come from, guys? He's been solid. The past 3-4 games, I don't know. Yeah, 3-4 games. He's been solid.
Yeah.
Azpi, just legend. Azpi, you guys think about it. Azpi spent his prime all the way till now in Chelsea. Think about it. He's won the league. He's won in Europe twice.
Yeah.
That's a legend. You don't. What more do you want from him? You understand? That's a Chelsea legend. I think. I don't know why Callum was brought off. Do you guys know why Callum was brought off?
Injured. He was injured.
Injury.
Because once Callum was brought off, the edge on the right of the pitch was gone.
Gone.
I see why he plays Callum over Reece. Callum takes on his guy. Reece doesn't. Reece is good at receiving the ball and just slapping it into the box, which is fantastic. He's a right back. He's great at that. But Callum catches that ball. He can take on this guy, draw the guy in, take the ball out. That's his his
exactly.
talent. Do you get what I'm saying? And
100%.
even when he brought off Callum, I kind of see his instruction to Ziyech to kind of be that guy. You know how he goes on the right wing, cuts it with his left, brings it back out. He kind of did that once or twice, but man, Ziyech was, guys.
Not good, man. Not good. Guys. You know I like Ziyech.
Nah, I really like Ziyech, yo. Like he punished us with Ayers.
Yeah.
What season was that?
Last season.
Last season.
Yeah. So, but I can see his position. He likes the right. He likes to have that, I can cut in or I can, do the leg over, pass it back.
He likes to be hugging the touchline. He wants to be wide.
Yeah. But he can't do the work of the wing back. That's why he doesn't play him in the right wing back. He can't do that work. I don't know, man. I don't know how Ziyech is going to do in this team. But, yeah, man, our strikers, Giroud, man. Whew. This wasn't the game for Giroud.
He was mighty close, though. He was mighty close, though, Michael.
I see Giroud plays a nice European game. We don't always have to bring him in for the Premiership game. Werner would have been very good in the first half. What do you guys think? Yeah. I think over the top, he would have caused them a good threats because they didn't sit back. They played at the half line in the first half, which surprised us. I think he thought they were going to do an athletical style sit back, so Giroud can get in and do his thing, which he almost did actually once or twice. But yeah, man, crazy game. But what would you guys say was your man of the match?
Oh, man of the match, I'd probably put it Christensen. I'd probably say Christensen.
Yeah, Christensen. Good.
I'll say Rudiger.
I'll say Rudiger as well.
Rudiger or Christensen.
Rudiger's superb.
I think Azpi has a shout as well.
That's the back three. Pretty much.
Yeah.
The thing with Rudiger is for the past 2 matches, he's got his arm around someone's neck with McTominay, and you're thinking, don't do it. That's the scary thing with him.
Yeah, fair point there.
One more thing, guys, before I did, Chilwell and Alonso. This is a conversation that goes on the TL so hard. Can I say something?
We'll talk about this. We will
I'm not
talk
someone
about
that gets, I'm not, in the, the content creator world yet, But I would say that Alonso knows that position better than Chilwell. Talk to the wall. Alonso knows that position way better than Chilwell. Chilwell was good today, by the way. Let me say that. I never spoke about it. He was good today, but if you guys saw in the second half, there were once or twice James got in behind. It was Rudiger that kind of ruffled up for him. If you guys notice that, I see why he plays Alonso. And up front, going forward, there's just moments where he needs to be like, click on. Like in the first half, there was a moment where Mount played like a good 1-2 with him, and Mount turned around and slapped it in behind. But Chilwell had already stopped at the halfway line. That position makes that left wing back just has to keep on bombing forward.
Yeah,
that's just the 1 or 2 tweaks, man. If not Chilwell, man, I can't wait for him to just ball out. I see something in him, but yeah. If not, I think we were solid. We were the better team. We were much more stronger. If we had like a cutting-edge striker up front, we would have won this game today.
Nah, fair point, Michael. Thank you heaps for your reaction. We'll catch you again next time. Take care, man.
All right, man. You guys stay safe, man.
See
ya. What a great
Let's
reaction.
bring on Johnathan. Johnathan, my man, your quick reactions.
Yeah, look, I'm Christensen as promised. Another game. I've watched some of some of the video. I've been sort of in and out doing stuff, been eating, and look, I'm really disappointed with that result. A draw doesn't really help us. It suits Man United, but the way we set up today, we assumed that Man United were going to do their sitting and soaking, and we set up, to counter that. And they came out the blocks. They pressed higher. They were more attacking. And then when we changed it second half, they then changed their attack. So I just feel like Tuchel made some mistakes today again. Only the second game, along with the Southampton game, and I'm just disappointed. I think a draw is a fair result, but again, I know you've been talking about it earlier, but cutting edge, we just lack bodies going forward and challenges. It's really, really, really annoying to watch.
No, absolutely, man. You're right. Like I personally thought that, we should be going for the win. It's a game where 3 points was there to be taken. So I completely understand what you're saying, Johnathan, in terms of 2 points drop. Would you have started with the same lineup just quickly before we let you go, Johnathan? Like, were you happy with the lineup? Were you happy with how we sort of played that out, or would you have done something different? Like Michael has said that perhaps he would have started Werner and not Giroud up front. But then again, we all selected Giroud when we did our preview. He was always going to start. So what would you have changed?
Yeah, in this game, look, you can't drop Giroud after his antics in Madrid or in Romania. I think started Kante to counter, Man United's, players in the hole, in the 10, and Fernandes, etc. Chilwell was to be more defensive than Alonso. So we kind of set up, anticipating, as I said earlier, the way United were going to play. And Solskjaer actually decided, let's go for this. And he said in his pre-match interview that we've got a lot of clean sheets in big games. We need to start getting a goal. And he said that specifically. And clearly, before the game and the way he set up, it was in his mind. Tuchel said in his post-match interview that he was satisfied with the Chelsea performance, and I wasn't particularly convinced when I was listening to him because he seemed a little bit annoyed. The Hudson-Odoi sub was forced. Jay coming on, and I agree with Michael, it does limit us a little bit. But yeah, Kante I thought was really good. Yeah, the defence were good, but we're talking about how good our defensive players were. We're not talking about how good our attacking players were because other than the Ziyech chance, other than the Giroud chance, the one where Mount's sort of gone forward and tried to cut back and it hasn't got to anything. How many chances did we have? And in a game like this, where we've got to win, a draw doesn't really help us because we've got Liverpool on Thursday. If they beat Sheffield United right now, they go above us if they beat us, and they could very well beat us. So it doesn't really help us, this result at all. And we should have been, from the off, a little bit more in terms of intensity. We started okay, but then we kind of fizzled out in the first half. Second half, we tried to change it, like Tuchel said, but we just have no one that's kind of on the edge of the box, arriving late, that Lampard kind of guy, when the balls are going to be cut back, and we're missing a striker that's going to score goals.
No, 100%. Taryn, you've got a question for Johnathan.
Yeah, Johnathan, I just wanted to ask you about a player who came in today. Maybe he's received a lot of criticism so far in his short minutes under Tuchel. I just want to ask you about Hakim Ziyech. How do you think he played today?
I thought you'd ask this question. I'm going to be a bit coy because I've Miz here, but yeah, I didn't think he was very good today at all. The shot that he had, the big chance, kind of straight at De Gea if he's in more, if he's in better form, if he's feeling the game a little bit better, maybe he puts that either side of him. There was an earlier chance, I think, where he had a shot straight at De Gea. Just didn't create, he just doesn't look comfortable in this system, and he seems to be one of the realities, really. We just don't really seem to have a role for him. So look, playing right wing back, playing left wing back, try something different, because in that sort of role, we're not getting the best out of him. So I was not impressed. I would have liked to have seen Werner come on 10, 15 minutes earlier to bring that energy. There was a nice cross where I think Lindelof gets in a good interception in front of Werner. So Werner would have got in pockets of space that Ziyech today wasn't at the races, and disappointed. There's a big chance today. He hasn't taken it. So against Liverpool, you can't justify starting him, to be honest.
No, I agree. Sure. I agree. Johnathan, thank you so much, my man, for your reactions. I know you've got a busy schedule today, so we'll let you go. We'll continue on with the rest of the program. But yeah, thank you, my man.
No worries. Take care, guys. Enjoy the rest of the show, and I'll see you Thursday.
For sure. Take care. Bye.
See you, mate.
Yeah, boys. Let's talk about the player performances now. I'll go to Mark first of all. We'll talk about the substitutions right after this. Let's talk about. I'm going to do a little bit differently in regards to the player performance. I want to talk about Ziyech. I know he's the talk of the town at the moment. I actually bought a Hakim Ziyech shirt just before the kickoff. There was that 50% off the promotion that was going on, and I got in on that. So I got the third kit, the red and blue one with Ziyech's name. So I was really happy about that, because I just thought that perhaps he would have done something. But Mark, man, I got to be honest. I don't think Ziyech was good enough, man. We needed someone like Ziyech to assist Giroud and Mason Mount and Callum Hudson-Odoi. When you don't have that one more player that's not clicking properly, I feel like physically he was outdone a couple of times by the Man United players, just sort of barging him over. His pressing, he looks like he presses well, but he doesn't really get anywhere in his pressing. He's been known for his good pressing. Shooting a couple of times, he's hit the man right in front of him. Key passes, I didn't see that enough at all. I just, this particular player, I expect so much from him, and I want him to do so well. You'd all know how much I love him. But right now, he's not doing any favors, man. I don't think he deserves to start against Liverpool. What was your thoughts on Hakim Ziyech in this match?
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, congratulations on your shirt. I think it's you chose well there. Hakim Ziyech, he is a great footballer, and at his best, for me, he's one of the best in Europe. The thing is, he hasn't played that much recently, and when he has played since Tuchel's in the team, the formation is not helping him. So the thing is that we can't expect the best of Ziyech in a position which is not his best position, right? And that can go for any player. But the thing is that when, the position that if you want to play Ziyech right now, he hasn't got the physicality to play where Cho is expected to play, for example. Right? And he's not the same type of player. Cho has speed. He can take one-to-ones. But Ziyech, on the other hand, he's another type of player. He's a magician. He's a guy that you can give him the ball and he'll put it on Giroud's foot 30 yards. And that is Ziyech, right? So we can't expect the same. We can't expect him to play in the same way that he would under a formation like we used to play with Lampard, for example. I think a 4-3-3 would really benefit Ziyech. The system that we're playing now with three at the back, I really don't think that we're going to ever see the best of Ziyech in that formation. I'm not too, how do I say this? I'm not too preoccupied, because I think that in the long run, we are going to play different formation. I think it's something that we need points, we need them fast, and we need them now. And Tuchel is just doing what he thinks is best, and it's actually working. The thing is that we can't expect the best from every single player that we have, and Ziyech is one of those.
No, I agree, man. Taryn, I'm starting to think a lot that this, as Mark said, the formation is hurting him, because previously under Frank Lampard, he was playing far more wider, where he would receive the ball and there's no one really behind him to press because he's hugging the line. You can't have anyone behind the line. So he's the last man. So he gets the ball, he looks up and he whips in the cross, or he looks up and he takes his man on. He's not quick, but he's smart enough to take the man on, be tricky, or cut in, lay the pass and play the 1-2 sort of link up. Whereas now he's in the inside forward where when he receives the ball, he's got a man right behind him pressing so hard that it doesn't allow him to do all the things that we know he is capable of doing when he's facing forward. Do you feel this is being a bit of an issue for him? And I don't think he can play right wing back because he doesn't have the engine to run up and down. Do you think the formation is an issue, and how do you fit in this formation at all?
Yeah, if he was playing wing today, I think that you saw how high they were pressing. We would have lost the ball a lot. But here's my point on this. If he's playing in the middle and he loses the ball, that's really dangerous. The most danger comes from the middle. They can play out wide. They can play through balls. They can even shoot. If he's losing the ball in deep positions, that's really dangerous for the team. If he's playing on the wing, losing the ball, it's still bad, but it's less catastrophic, and we won't concede as many gilt-edged chances. But if he was pressed today, I'm sure he would have lost the ball a lot, and I don't think that Ziyech maybe has the pace, as I've said before. Miz, you brought it up that you've seen Ziyech in the half spaces before at Ajax, where he actually is quite quick and he can get past players. But yeah, we've seen in the past at Ajax, maybe not last season when he's been moved to right winger by Ten Hag. He was playing as a cam, and even I noticed it's irrelevant, but on FIFA he was a cam, so I'm guessing he was a cam. So yeah, so I think that he was a cam on a few years ago, and he's used to that position. But the way we've seen Ziyech as a world-class player is a right winger that can drift whatever he wants all over the pitch, create damage, but his main position is to be on the wing, swinging dangerous balls. We've seen it at Chelsea, against Chelsea at Ajax, Stamford Bridge, but the goal I can remember is against Tottenham at the Amsterdam Arena with the 3-2 game, I believe it was. He cut inside from the right, came on the left and swerved it into the bottom corner on his left foot. But yeah, right now with Ziyech, it is sad to see because I really rate this guy. And congratulations as well, like Mark said in your shirt, Miss. Bit questionable with the pink and blue one, but I mean, it's good.
I really like that kid. That's a nice kid.
I mean, yeah,
when he did that celebration. Remember when he did that celebration when he scored?
Yeah. I mean, I rate the kit, but right now I just think that when we switch to a 4-2-3-1, that's suited to Ziyech. A 4-2-3-1 on the right, a 4-3-3 on the right suited to him. But yeah, I think that it's sad. It's sad. As a wing back, I still don't think he has the one-on-one skills that Cho has. Obviously, Reece James gets the ball. Reece James isn't suited to that position. Ziyech isn't suited. Reece James gets it and plays it back. You pass to Cho as almost a Hazard type player. He'll create something. He'll drive at the man. He'll pass it. Hudson-Odoi has really good technical ability. He can switch the ball really well. His cross today was absolutely superb. Not many in the league can have a first-time ball like that. It's just why we think of him as a star boy. Another reason. Hudson-Odoi class. Ziyech in that position, he can do that, but he also has a lot more defensive work to do in that position as a wing back. But yeah, right now I think that a formation change would help. But as some of the live chat is saying, you can't put it all down to formation. And Mark said he hasn't played many games recently. Maybe his match sharpness isn't as we want at the minute. But yeah, it's sad to see. But I'm sure Ziyech, I don't think he's going to leave in the summer as the rumours have come out. And Tuchel won't stick with a 3 at the back forever. That's not Thomas Tuchel. We'll change. And Ziyech will get game time in the season later on, and he'll be fine, I'm sure.
No, for sure. I think, man, the bottom line is this formation hurts him a lot. Let's move on to Kishan. Kishan, let's talk about the player performances. Let's go straight from the top. Olivier Giroud, what were your thoughts about Olivier Giroud? Do you think this was a match for him? Like what Michael was probably saying that he probably would have had Timo Werner in. What was your thoughts? You happy with Giroud's sort of performance?
Yeah, I think now it's a lot easier to say we would have had Werner in. But like we were speaking before the game, I didn't want Werner in at the start. I thought it was good to rest him. And like Giroud, the thing is, he might not always have the best game, but he's literally like a header away from changing all of that. And then that Callum Hudson-Odoi ball comes in. And if he gets on the end of that, where he's had like a completely different game to us. So I think it was like the right choice to have him in there. And then I think at halftime was another point where we saw that, okay, it wasn't working and we will get Werner on after. But I think maybe he stuck with Giroud a bit too long. And I thought when Werner came on, he actually should have put Kai Havertz on instead. Yeah. Especially when you got Reece's delivery. when he's swinging balls in like that, I think Havertz would have been more of a threat than Werner was.
No, I agree, man. Once again, some really, really good points from you, Kishan. I think you're right. Like all of us had predicted that we'd have Giroud before the match. So it's always easy, hindsight, looking back and go, oh, we should have had Werner. Let's be all honest. We all had Giroud starting this match. But yeah, it's a very good point that Havertz probably would have been far more impetus in the middle. We've all been calling out, the F9 situation where he could drop deep, play in midfield. It's a bit strange that Havertz doesn't play enough. Let's go to Mark. Obviously, we talked about Giroud, and Havertz obviously didn't feature at all. Let's not talk about Timo Werner, how he came off the bench. Did you like his little cameo? I mean, Kishan did mention that Giroud probably stayed on a bit too long. Do you agree with that? That perhaps Werner or Havertz could have come on a little bit earlier, that Giroud just stayed on for a bit too long? Were you happy with bringing Werner on at all?
Yes, I was happy at the beginning to see Giroud start. The thing is that, like Sean said, it's easy to say what the best thing to choose was. But, I was watching the game, and like Johnathan said in his quick reaction, I would have brought Werner in 10, 15 minutes earlier than what he did.
Yeah.
But, I think this game was actually asking for two strikers at that moment. Maybe I wouldn't have taken Giroud out, but I would have put Werner in. I don't know Havertz. I really want to see Havertz. I'm still super excited with Havertz, but I haven't seen him play for a long time. So I think that game 0-0, important game as well, because it's for the top 4 race. But I would have brought Werner in and kept Giroud maybe up there.
Yeah, no, that's a good point as well. I mean, maybe Giroud was just burning out. Perhaps he's just not capable at this particular age to play that many. He did play 90 minutes, I believe, against Atletico Madrid. That wasn't that long ago. And to give him another 90 minutes, he's probably going to start against Liverpool, maybe. Taryn, what were your thoughts about two players I want to talk to you about? Pulisic coming on. I felt like, I don't know, I expected a lot, man. I thought he was going to showcase his desire for being in bench for that long. He hasn't really started for under Thomas Tuchel, that he's going to come out of the bench and he's going to be absolutely flying. He didn't do that. And then on the contrary, Mason Mount just keeps producing good games, man. I know that clinicalness, that final third sort of ability is not there yet with Mason Mount, that consistency. But I do like a lot of things about him. His hustle, his intensity, his pressing, his counter-pressing. His passes need to be more consistent, but there are good passes as well. So talk to me about these two players and their contrasting sort of situation at the moment.
Yeah, I'll start with Mason Mount. If he becomes more clinical and get his goals and assists up, I think he's going to be one of the best players in the Premier League, because that's all he's really lacking in his game at the minute. We've seen he's dropping in between the lines, and he's been our main creative player so far under Tuchel. If he can maybe get a few long shots away a bit more and get them on target, test the keeper, I think he's going to be one of the best players in Europe, even in my opinion. That's a bit too far, but in Europe, he can be a great player. And yeah, with Christian Pulisic, I said before, after lockdown, he was probably our best player. He was changing games off the bench, on the pitch. He wasn't even fully fit against Liverpool, and he absolutely destroyed them in that game. I'm just down to his fitness at the minute with Pulisic. I think that a fully fit or even half fit Christian Pulisic completely changed this game. And I'm sure that he's not completely fit. I'm not sure what's really up with Pulisic. He keeps getting these little niggles, little injuries here, there, everywhere, and it's really affecting him, because that's why a lot of the Jadon Sancho rumours are coming around, because we all know that Pulisic is better than Jadon Sancho on his day, but it is down to the fact that we need a player who can play 20, 30 games a season and play at a high level, like Mason Mount, Hudson-Odoi. I mean, he's had a few injuries, but Hudson-Odoi's been pretty much fit most of the time. And yeah, if Pulisic maybe could work on his fitness, I don't know how to say that, but work on his fitness a little bit more with the fitness coaches at Chelsea, get his match fitness more up, then having a fully fit Pulisic on the left wing is going to cause issues. He has assists in him, a sick assist as we saw against Liverpool, goals in him, Crystal Palace away last year, obviously the goal against Man City. Then yeah, Pulisic is one of my favourite players. He was my lock screen last year in the summer. I really rate him highly, but yeah. I want to talk a little bit about Kai Havertz, as Kashan mentioned. I really want to see him as a false nine off the bench today. If he came on, he has everything you need right now as a false nine. He has pace, he has aerial ability. Maybe his hold-up play could improve a little bit, but he has intelligence, drop in between the lines, like we saw at Leverkusen, like we saw earlier in the season. He has it in his game, and he's almost a hybrid between Werner and Giroud. He's a player maybe a little bit better than Abraham at the hold-up play, but I really want to see, if Abraham's not fit, I want to see Havertz drop in as a false nine. Maybe, again, his match fitness isn't quite up, but Havertz played really well as a false nine in his games for Leverkusen last year. After lockdown, he came in. I think he scored 8 or 9 goals in the Bundesliga when he was a false nine. We've seen he can do it maybe in a weaker league, but Havertz is a class player in the final third, and I wanted to see him link up with the likes of Pulisic and Werner, because some really good link up with Werner and Havertz earlier in the season. They played really well again in the Southampton game and other games. But yeah, with Mason Mount and Pulisic, with Mason Mount, it's all about the final finish, the final pass, and with Pulisic, it's about his fitness. And we've got 2 really great players that can change the whole team around.
No, absolutely, man. Kishan, I want to continue on this conversation with Pulisic and Kai Havertz and Ziyech. These players were not seen to get the best out of them this season yet. Havertz didn't even feature in this match. And as Terence said, there's the rumors with Jadon Sancho. I don't know how strong that rumor is anymore, to be honest. But is it a bit worrisome for you that we're not getting the best out of these 3 players that we really need to in the upcoming games? We've got some big games coming up, and it can't just be purely based on Mason Mount, Timo Werner, and Callum Hudson-Odoi. We need everyone, and Giroud. We need some of these players, the big players, to really chip in.
Yeah, I think when you look at Pulisic, Havertz, Werner, and Ziyech, the 4 of them are pretty much just fighting for one spot, because Mount is pretty much nailed on the other side. So there's 4 of them in one spot, and every time one of them goes out, they just don't seem to do that much. I think Werner's probably the one who's done the most in that position. So he starts more than the other 3. But at the same time, someone like Pulisic, how are they going to get better, like match sharpness and that kind of thing, when they don't play as many minutes? I think the last time he played was against Barnsley, and he looked really rusty and short of match minutes. But he's not getting match minutes even from the bench. And then the fact that we can't do 5 substitutions, actually, that changes a lot, because you saw in the Champions League game, he brought on 5 substitutes, and the players that we can actually bring on, you get a lot more rotation. But with the 4 that we've got, it's hard to say which one would start week in, week out, compared to on the other side. Mount is just going to play every week. Yeah. Especially in the big games, you have to have Mount.
No, agreed, man. Agreed. Absolutely agreed. Like, Mount is simply someone I can't drop him in any matches, let alone big, small, doesn't really matter. His performances warrant start. So that really leaves one other spot as an inside forward between Werner, Ziyech, Pulisic, Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz can contend for the forward spot as well, but he's probably in the mix in that one too. So it's very difficult, and they're not really, when they're getting the opportunity, like Ziyech got the opportunity today, he's not really put his hand up to continue on.
Sorry. At the same time, I don't see Hudson-Odoi as someone that would play behind the striker. I think he always has to be wing back, because when you play Reece there, you lose one attacking outlet, and I think you always have to have 4 on the pitch. So that way, by having Callum Hudson-Odoi on that side, you always have 4 attackers. I think today, when we drop down to 3, you can see the difference in the creativity, because Cho doesn't need that much space. You don't always have to take someone on. He can get a little bit of space and whip a ball in, like the one that he did to Giroud. He even had another one at the start that no one got on the end of. But he's really good at putting that kind of ball in. Whereas Reece, you see him go and take the easier option most of the time from that wing position.
Fair play, man. Fair play. Let's continue on. Let's talk about the backs now. Let's talk to Mark about Mendy. Mendy, for me, I think he made some really good saves. There was that free kick, although it was straight to him, but it was zipping, and he punched it out. In the second half, there was a shot, where they're all lined up, and he saved that as well. And there were a few other shots where he made decent saves. I don't think in recent times, with all the clean sheets that we've been getting, and I do have to say that he hasn't been called on that often, but he still deserves the praise that, at least he's keeping it quite clean at the back, and that's why we've been keeping clean sheets as well. Thoughts about Mendy, Mark?
Yeah, I think he was solid. He was solid. I was quite happy to see him today, especially with important saves that he did. I think I don't want to be harsh on Kepa or whatever, but I do think that if Kepa was the goal today, maybe there were some saves that he couldn't have done. So I was really happy with Mendy, especially because I was quite worried on the game against Atletico Madrid. I don't know why. He didn't have to do anything really because Atletico didn't even shoot a goal. But I don't know, when we passed the ball to him, it was kind of, I could see him nervous, like shaky and that. And I wasn't comfortable with watching him against Atletico. But today, I was quite comfortable watching him. I think he was solid and he performed really well.
No, agreed, man. Taryn, let's talk about the back three. I want to give you the opportunity to talk about Rudiger, Christensen, Azpilicueta. I think we've all mentioned that, Rudiger and Azpilicueta, Christensen specifically. Azpi has been fantastic as well. Nothing taken away from him. But Rudiger and Christensen, they were phenomenal with the ball as well. Rudiger going forward, dribbling in the first half to the enemy territory, with that barnstorming run. But Christensen, some really key interceptions as well, man, in the right time. Azpilicueta as well, making some really good defensive movements as well. Your thoughts about the back three?
Yeah, I was talking about Rudiger. I think that if this was a different player, if this was Tomori, the whole fan base would be just talking about it like all the time, every day, all day. But I feel like there is some bias aside of Rudiger, obviously, with some rumours that obviously were not true in the end. But Rudiger has been absolutely superb under Tuchel. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it too much, but Rudiger hasn't really put a foot wrong apart from the situation I mentioned all the time for some reason, like the Sheffield one. But yeah, Rudiger hasn't put a foot wrong. He's been solid defensively. He's been making interceptions. He's been pressing high. He's been defending really well. He's been winning headers. He maybe in the box, he's not as good as Zuma, which does really, really frustrate me. The corners and the free kicks at the minute. Rudiger doesn't seem to be heading them as better as Zuma. But yeah, Rudiger's been absolutely amazing so far. And if he can continue this form up, then I'm really excited to see what Rudiger can do the rest of the season. But with Christensen, he looks at home in that back three in the middle. Yeah. That looks like he's been living in that house for about 50 years. His whole family's lived there, generations. His grandma, his great grandma lived there. His
wife, his
kids everywhere. His grandparents live there. You know what I mean? He looks comfortable in that back three. Almost as if I say even better than Thiago Silva was in the first few games. Christensen he's proved a lot of people wrong, and I'm really happy for him because I was a huge critic of him last season, even in the Liverpool game. I think I actually broke my TV remote when he did that. I was fuming when he took down Sadio Mane. I was really angry. But yeah, Christensen has come back and he's been superb, man. I can't even give enough praise. We did a video about him the other day, and I was saying that if you play Aubameyang as a forward in a target man system, you're basically taking all of his strengths out. If you play Christensen in the back four, you're taking all of his strengths out. You're putting his weaknesses. His physicality is a weakness, and you don't really see him in one-on-one duels as much now. He's more just reading the game and playing passes. Even though Christensen doesn't make those Thiago Silva-esque passes, as we saw against Leeds, them little through-the-line balls to Mason Mount, he is really calm in possession. And I don't see any instances when he passes it wrong, like with good weight on the ball. He always passes it with good weight and good passes, maybe a few instances, but apart from that, and as for Azpilicueta, Dave's been superb in the last few games. He's come in and he's proved to Tuchel that he is the best player, better than Reece James in the back as a back three. I'm sure as a back three centre back. But yeah, even though we've seen this back three under Conte, I don't see much difference. Even though it was 3 years ago, it seems to be still solid. Like this back three, it seems to be even more solid than the Conte 17-18 season. Yeah. It's been really good, and I wish that our attackers could do compliment for the back three, because if we had a good attack and a good defense right now, we'd be steamrolling teams left, right, and centre. But yeah, it's been really good, and I'm really happy with the back three at the moment.
So true, man. You're right, man. This back three, they feel so comfortable. As Tuchel said in his interview with Rio Ferdinand, he came in, and the very first thing he realised was the characteristic of the team fit the back three, and he wanted to reinstate Azpilicueta straight away. So it's no surprise that these players are playing so well because they like playing in this formation. Kishan, let's talk about the last player before we kind of talk about the final parts of this particular review. As I said, it's been a flat review because, to be honest, we wanted the win, and the draw kind of feels like a loss. I know there's a long way to go, but Kishan, let's talk a little bit about Chilwell and Alonso situation. Were you happy with Chilwell? Look, personally, I was quite happy to see him start when I saw the lineup. I was like, he probably it's a good chance for him to showcase what he can do in the left wing. But it needs to be said, he does not seem to provide. Defensively, maybe he does a lot more cover than Alonso, and he's aesthetically better on the ball. His control is better. But moving forward, Alonso is always there and thereabouts as another striker. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's always got that clutch goal. I know recently he hasn't scored anything, but you just know that he's got that clutch goal. And that's something that I don't see with Chilwell. What were your thoughts about Chilwell's performance?
I think that initially when the team came out, I was surprised not to see Alonso. Right. But in game, I was actually quite impressed with Chilwell, and I'm not his biggest fan. I think he lacks a lot of intensity that other fullbacks have, that your Reguilons and your Tierney's and Robertson kind of thing. But I think he was generally quite good, and he defended quite well. But like you say, when he goes forward, he just doesn't have quite the positioning of Alonso. And I think when Callum Hudson-Odoi put that one of the balls in and Giroud missed it, you can see on the screen there's like Chilwell running in the background coming in, but you just knew that he'll never get on the end of that kind of thing. Whereas with Alonso, you actually never know. And if he's not scoring from positions like that, he's got a few worldies in him in games like this where you never know. But I think overall, I was still quite happy with Chilwell. And if I was to see him in the team again, even at wing back, I wouldn't think too much into it. I don't think there's as much difference as people make out. I know Alonso has the odd goal in him, but I still think it's quite sporadic. When you got Chilwell, there probably is some pressure from the board to play him because they've spent 50 million. But fair enough, I don't think there's that much in it.
No, I have to agree, man. When Alonso plays, I get frustrated as well. Don't get me wrong, man. When he was playing against Atletico Madrid, there were times where I was so frustrated how slow he was making things. Second half did get better. And you're right, when Chilwell plays as well, I'm happy that he gets the opportunity, but it's just when he moves forward, I feel like, as you said, Kishan, that intensity of a Robertson or a Tierney is just not there. Or Reguilon in the left wing-back position would have just been dynamic, man. And this is what I screamed out for Reguilon, man. I know we could have never imagined that, we were going to get Thomas Tuchel and we're going to go back to a back three and wing backs. Frank Lampard's selection was Ben Chilwell. And Ben Chilwell, let's be honest, in the left back position, did start off really well. Just in that whole middle period of December and January, like everyone else, kind of fell apart. But boys, let's now wrap things up. Let's talk about some final sort of comments. Let's go to Mark first of all, man. Overall, are you a bit bummed about it? Are you sort of looking forward to Liverpool? I mean, we kind of missed that top four opportunity. That's the title of this particular show, that we've missed the top four opportunity. There are still, maybe 13 games to go, I believe.
I think we've played 26, right?
Yeah, 13 games to go or 12 games, something like that. But yeah, these are the games that we kind of need to win and ensure that we're in top four, because the top four race is quite tight. How do you feel, man, at the end of all of it?
I am quite upset for today's result, but it could have been worse and it could have been better. But, I was expecting a win. I just had a feeling that we were going to win today. So I think it's why I'm a bit extra upset. But we have to move on, man. Liverpool next, let's give everything we've got against them. We've got nothing to lose right now at the position we are. Yeah. So I just think we have to do the game of the season against them, I think we can't afford to lose against Liverpool.
But I feel like we have to win, man.
We have to win. A draw wouldn't be the best. I know it's not good enough, but we can't afford to lose against Liverpool. Yeah. That would be the worst thing that can happen. And as a general aspect, I think that this season has been so strange, man. So awkward season. But, I still wish that we can get past Atletico, which I think Cholo Simeone has been watching today's game for sure. Or he's going to watch it for sure. And he's taking notes as well. But, just hoping for the best, man. Liverpool next, we must move on and let's take it to them.
Taron, my boy, Liverpool can't lose or must win. How are you looking at it?
Must win, 100% must win. West Ham, I wasn't concerned at them at all, But yesterday against Man City, I looked at them and I thought this team is actually really good. The way they build, they've class players. So West Ham are an issue, and first thing we need to do is get above Liverpool, get a bit of breathing space above Liverpool. Then we worry about West Ham at the London Stadium. We need to beat them as well. It's going to be really tight now for top four. There's many teams who can get in there. I think Everton, if they win their few games in hand, they're 1 point behind us. So going to be tough and have to be a win surely at Anfield.
Yeah, Kishan, letting you have the final words. You've had a splendid debut, my man. I'm sure we're going to bring you on again in this channel. The crowd loves you as well, man. Amar is saying Liverpool won't lose at Anfield, knowing they've actually been losing quite a lot there. I think they're in a bit of a losing streak in recent times. I think we've got 4 losses in a row. What's your thoughts, Kishan?
I brought a bit of a clan with me. So, yeah, with Liverpool, I think I was just looking at the table, and I do think teams like Leicester and West Ham did look good, but Leicester got injuries to Maddison and Barnes, and that's massive for them. And Vardy scored, I think he scored 1 in 11, so he's not on the greatest form right now as well. So I think they'll drop out. I just see us as like top 4 guaranteed, and like regardless of what happens in the next few matches, I think we've got another run of 4 or 5 easy games in a row, where we'll go on a similar run to the one that we just went on a couple of weeks ago. And I think the big games are not a write-off for us as well. So Liverpool, there's no reason why we can't go there. And I'd say we won't lose. So we'll take something from there, I think. And then it's pretty much the same with the other big games. And then as long as we're beating the teams that we should be beating, I think we'll be there.
I love it, man. I love the way you're thinking. Kishan, I was going to say Amar. Amar's the guy who's commented that we're not going to win. But yeah, it's what Mark said as well, I suppose. I definitely appreciate Terrence's point of view that we must win. Winning gets us to top 4 easy. But Mark and Kishan, I do understand that if we don't lose this, we're in the mix with some of the other fixtures coming up. Hopefully we get the win there. And then, you never know. Our rivals are not also in the best of form. Leicester, as you've said, Kishan, losing against Arsenal, I really didn't see that coming. I thought at home Leicester would get that win, but Arsenal got the victory. So and West Ham as well. Surely they're going to have to pop out of that. And Man United, God knows how they're going to go. We all know that only one team is in this, and that's Man City, and they're going out there and just winning the whole lot. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of this review. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to be there for the Liverpool review. I do have a surgery on the night before, so I'm not sure how well I'm going to be the day after. So we'll see. Fingers crossed. Do pray for me, guys, that I'm all fine for the Liverpool game. But yeah, I'm not really sure if I'm going to be available. So if not, it will be the Everton game if everything goes well. So yeah, guys, all of my panelists here, I will have all the information in the description. Please go out there and follow them and support them. As you've seen, they've all been so stupendous, to be honest. Their knowledge is unbelievable. And hope you all enjoyed it. Until next time, guys, see ya.